Hey everybody and welcome. Today I've got something pretty exciting for you. It is the new chassis by CROM USA for Ruger's PC Carbine rifle. So here in front of me we've got the chassis itself, CROM USA's ZhuCROM version of the Magpul Zhukov Handguard, and also this really awesome Hogue overmold stock that CROM Cerakoted to match the rest of the parts I got from them for me. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a quick look at what we have. Taking a look at the ZhuCROM Handguard, we have the Magpul Zhukov Handguard for the AK, but we can see it's been cut out over here so it can fit the takedown action. And then CROM has also made this upper mount and rail piece. So they offer this in two versions. One is just plain and the other one has this rail at the front. I believe they call this their Scout configuration. So this rail, which will go on top of the barrel there, will let you mount a red dot optic or other optic further forward on the rail. And it's supposed to also let you co-witness it, which is one of the things that I really liked when I read about it. So I'm going to see how well that works. The weight of the stock foregrip alone is 8.1 ounces or half a pound. The weight of the ZhuCROM foregrip and its hardware is 14.3 ounces, so considerably heavier. So to start, I'm going to have to tear apart my PC Carbine, and to do that, start just by taking the bolt back and locking it, making sure nothing in the chamber, there's no magazine. Then I can go ahead and push the pin forward and rotate it to take the barrel assembly apart from the receiver and stock assembly. So we're going to have to take the barrel assembly out of the original foregrip, and to do that we'll take another 5/32 hex and remove this screw on the bottom. Once the screw is loose enough, the barrel just pulls right out of the foregrip assembly, and we're going to need to keep unthreading this screw until it comes out all the way, because we will need this for later. So next what we'll do is we'll take this metal insert out of the Zhukov Handguard, and you can see the hole down here that CROM has added for our screw from the foregrip to go through and then attach to the barrel. But before we do that, we are going to need to put this block in here, and along with this block will be the underside supporting the barrel of the PC Carbine. So next we're going to take this H-shaped insert and we're going to put it inside this base insert, and this is going to align with the forwardmost two holes. If you look at this block, you'll notice that it's not perfectly even. Both sides are not symmetrical, and this side has rounded corners and this side is squared off, and the side with the radiused edges is the side that's going to go down into the insert. So we'll go ahead and place that there, and then we can go and put the barrel assembly on top. And what we're going to do when we flip it over is I want to align this screw right here, which we'll take that we took out of the original foregrip. We'll go ahead and put that in there and tighten it down. Before you torque this all the way though, make sure that this block is well aligned, and you may even want to start taking the other screws with their little lock washer at the bottom and insert that through there, and then take the top piece and just get it started. I found that I needed to use a couple number 10 washers around the original screw, and the reason why is if I didn't have the washers, I would bottom out the screw on the barrel assembly before it was clamping the Zhukov insert against it. So I'm going to put that down there in the bottom and take my 5/32 hex key, hex wrench, tighten that down. And just like the one for the receiver chassis, this will get torqued to 65 inch-pounds. So now that we've got everything assembled here, it's time to slide the polymer foregrip over. However, there's a couple issues that I found. The first is on these two front clamp block screws. If I keep these little lock washers on them, they actually stick out too far from the bottom, and they rub against the polymer handguard. And what this does is this makes this assembly pop up a bit, sit just a little bit too high. Additionally, because I also had to use these washers over here, those washers don't fit between these two grooves. And once again, the result is this whole assembly sits a bit too high in the polymer handguard. And that means that these side holes don't align. So I fixed the front one by not using those two lock washers, but for the rear, I'm probably going to shave down these ridges just a little bit to make clearance for them so that the whole assembly can align properly. Okay, so if you can see right here, I've ground down this little area where those washers would sit. So right now, it kind of acts as a little catch to prevent the assembly from sliding off. So it pops up a little bit while the washers ride over this rearmost part of the ridge, and then it kind of drops into place there where I ground those down.
For the front mount block screws, I also ended up taking my Dremel and making a little bit of a relief pocket on both sides of the polymer handguard so that I could fit the screw heads in there with the lock washers underneath.
So now I can finally slide these two assemblies together, and when they lock into place, now I have perfect alignment between the side holes in the block and the handguard. With everything aligned, I can take the side little screws, which use an 1/8 inch hex and have a little bit of Loctite or Vibratite on them, and I can just go ahead and secure those into the barrel assembly. And since these have some thread locker on them, snug hand tight will be fine. So there's the completed ZhuCROM foregrip and barrel assembly. And now I can go ahead and take my lower receiver, open that bolt, and then slide the two parts together. And there we go. There's my whole ZhuCROM rifle setup. In case you're wondering how it looks, here is what the ZhuCROM rifle looks like with a Holosun Endpoint Micro style red dot on there. And here's how it looks like with a burst fast fire type sight. If you're wondering how much the rifle weighs at this point, well, let's put it on the scale and find out. 7 pounds, 6.3 ounces.